I always laugh when I think about adventure and watercolor because I'm not really a danger person. I don't want there to be an opportunity to be injured, but I love being in an environment where surprises and unexpected things can happen. Well, my name is Angela Fehr. I'm a watercolor artist living in northern British Columbia, Canada. In my art practice, I try to make a lot of room for the unexpected. And, it really parallels my life. I noticed that when I went to paint in the desert, I thought of a very earthy palette, and that's what I planned to bring. But when I started adding in a little bit of unexpected color, looking under the surface for hints of, vibrant pinks, for example, they're there, but you have to really learn how to look for them. It's really fun to kind of play with color. If I see a hint of violet in the landscape, let's stretch that a little bit. Let's exaggerate it, and it's amazing how it just calls the viewer's eye maybe to finding that those elements in their own landscapes, which is fun to do. For most of my travels, I choose Daniel Smith. I love the variety of hues they have. I think they're at like 283 colors now. So, trying to just pick your top 20 to bring is always a challenge. And then I throw in usually a handful of additional colors, whatever I'm currently obsessed with. I actually was putting together a little video for the students who are going to be traveling with me soon, and I suggested that in their travel kit to bring something borrowed, something blue, something old, and something new. Bringing something old, the things you rely on and love. Bringing something new, maybe something you've purchased at an art supply store that you haven't had the chance to use yet, and then having it in your travel kit means you're forced to use it because you have a limited range of supplies. And then something borrowed, take a tip from another artist, see what they're using, and add that to your palette. And well, blue's just always a good option. It's amazing how the sky changes in different locations, how those shadows can really be rich and saturated. Just that's a great base variety to start with. I thought that was a fun rule of thumb. Limiting your materials when you travel does push you to work in new ways and develop new strategies. I think the first thing that I would encourage anybody to do is before you start choosing your supplies, choose what you're going to haul it in. I have a like 11 by 14 zippered pouch. And if it doesn't fit in that pouch, barring my easel, which I do try to travel with, but if it doesn't fit in that pouch, it's not coming with me. I think that with travel painting, you're going to want to keep some reflection of what your practice at home is. I like to use full-size brushes rather than travel brushes because then I can use my favorite brushes and consistently, whether I'm in the studio or traveling. Then I just keep them in like a brush roll so they don't get bent. Then I also really prioritize a good quality sketchbook. So many watercolor sketchbooks are using like the cheaper cellulose blend paper. I use 100% cotton paper in my studio. I want the same paper when I travel. And so I always spend a little more for those good sketchbooks, just so I can feel like with whatever learning curve of that new environment, and the weather can be a complication. All of those things can pose a challenge. So having some familiarity in the tools I'm using is really helpful. It makes me laugh because very much in my art practice these last few years, I have a sense of welcoming the child that I was back into my art practice. That little girl who first loved to make art. She's not a bold person. She's a little timid. As I made space for her, I've also recognized that there's a little bit of freedom in watercolor for me to rebel. And I think that's really going on is I'm pushing it back against the notion that I need to fit other people's expectations. And so in my painting practice, the rebel in me will grab a crayon and do something that looks deliberately raw and unfinished because all my life I felt pressure to excel, to be polished or perfect. So it becomes then my bold adventure. Being a watercolor rebel is the kind of rebel I like to be. And I love the fact that this is making my work bolder and more confident, and just trusting that somehow I'm making something that is going to be deeply resonant for me for the rest of my life. I went to Italy three and a half years ago, and we were in Milan. and we took a tour that took us up to the roof of the Duomo Cathedral. And I just thought, I will regret it forever if I don't sit down and paint on the roof of this cathedral. I mean, what an iconic moment. And I knew I couldn't do the scene justice. The Duomo is like a wedding cake with all of those spires and ornately carved. And so the most I could attempt to do was maybe one piece of one of those spires. And yet, it was really about the experience of doing it, knowing that just to sit and paint there, I would remember that forever. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. It's not the result. The painting that shows up in the sketchbook isn't what matters, but it's that moment of I want to take in this moment with the tools I have in my hand. I want to be present here and notice. There's always that little tug to create great work instantly, but it is about the experience and the memories that come when you flip through those sketchbooks, and the emotions that come back. They're very powerful.
Thank you so much to Angela Fehr for sharing her insights and creativity with us. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am to get outside and bring your art along with you, wherever you may be going. You can learn more about Angela's experiences in an article on our website, and be sure to check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.